What's up, guys? Carolina Jackpot coming at you on Memorial Day. Hope everyone's having a good day today and remembering today for what it's supposed to be about. Today is the day we honor the men and women who have served in the United States military and have lost their lives doing so, defending the honor of what this is, the greatest country on the face of the earth. Hope you all are doing well. Can't wait to get into talking some college football. And I noticed that Las Vegas had released some early lines on some games, about 20 or 30 of them, I think it is right now. And one of the SEC pages had a meme up of some games that are in the first few weeks of the season that involve SEC teams. So I'm going to give my breakdown on one of those games today, and I hope you all will stay and watch the entire video. Florida takes on Miami on August the 24th in the Camping World Stadium in Orlando at the Camping World Kickoff, I believe it's called. This game was originally scheduled to be played on August the 31st. However, they moved it up a week in the interest of both schools, I guess, for ratings and just to kind of distance themselves from the competition. Not a bad idea. Not a bad idea. This is week 0 of college football. There's a couple of interesting games that day, so this will certainly lend a lot of credibility to that. Miami leads this overall series 29-26. The last time they met was in 2013 in Miami, and they won the game 21-16. If you'll remember, that was the year Will Muschamp went 4-8 at Florida. It was also the year they lost to Georgia Southern and had players blocking themselves. Yeah, they did. They blocked themselves. At any rate, 222 miles separates Orlando and Miami, Florida, and 114 miles separates Orlando and Gainesville. So, obviously, the crowd will be heavy Gator fans, which I thought it probably would be anyway before I even checked those distances out because, you know, I don't think Miami fans travel all that well. In fact, they don't travel to their home stadium all that well. So this will be no different as far as that goes. I also wanted to try to find out what each team's record was playing in Orlando because I know that both of them have played there before, but just wasn't able to find that information. That would probably be available in each school's media guide. If someone has access to such information, maybe you drop it down in the comment section below because I'd like to know that one. Florida finished 10-3 last year. Pretty good season for Dan Mullen in his first year. A couple of those losses were, kind of head scratching when you looked at the talent level that Florida had on their team. Miami finished 7-6, and that was really not so much head scratching. We knew why it was. They did not have good quarterback play. They lacked a little bit in the receiver game as well. And ultimately, Coach Mark Richt either stepped down or got fired, however you want to lay that one out. After the season, enter Manny Diaz, the former defensive coordinator. Under Mark Richt, he's a Miami guy. He's been in Miami for many years and is beloved by the fan base and players as well. Their season, or the success of this game, in my opinion, for Miami is going to come down to the quarterback battle between N'Kosi Perry and Tate Martell, who comes in from Ohio State. Both these guys are sophomores, and can they, really elevate the quarterback position at the University of Miami without that huge offensive mind as head coach? That remains to be seen. Last year, if they had just had better quarterback play in a couple of their games, they would have probably won. As it were, they didn't have good quarterback play, and they lost. At the receiver position, they have a couple of talented receivers, including a new guy who's a grad transfer coming in from Buffalo, actually. And you say, well, he come from Buffalo. What's he going to do? Well, I mean, they had a pretty formidable team themselves in 2018. If you watched any college football, especially on Thursday nights, you saw Buffalo play a good bit. They were an exciting team, and they really will have an addition to their receiving staff with this young man. Jeff Thomas is another wide receiver who has the ability to make some plays for Miami. Their defense is led by linebacker Shaq Quarterman and defensive end John Garvin. That was the strength of their team last year, and will probably be the strength that they need to lean on again this year. And once again, Perry replaced Malik Rozier about a third of the way through the season. Really didn't do a whole lot of great things. In fact, they went on about a 6-game losing streak, I think it was, right there in the middle of the season after they'd won like their first 4. So a lot of improvement that they need at the quarterback position, just a lot. Their leading running back, who was Travis Homer, he's gone, so they'll have to replace him. So Miami, what you see, they're really just an unproven commodity. They're an unproven commodity. Having a brand new head coach may help them out a little bit in this first game. He's coming out. He's ready to go. They're ready to go. Show the world what they can do. But that kind of emotion only carries you so far. If you don't have the horses, things can go sideways on you in a hurry. Florida's had some off-season issues. If you've kept up with stuff this year, one of their students left the program. He was, I think, going to be like a third or fourth string quarterback. He beat up a girl or something, from what I understand, and he ended up transferring out of the program. Then, Chris Steele, highly regarded defensive back, Bellflower, California, and he leaves the program as well and transfers out. So it was said that he wanted to transfer away from this other kid's room because he was, I don't know. I don't want to get into all that personal stuff, but anyway, he transferred away. Good luck to him. Steele, not exactly my favorite player anyway. He was on our Gamecocks radar, and he chose to go to Florida, so you get what you pay for. Their defense should be okay. They've got some talented players over there led by David Reese, who was a tackling machine a couple of seasons ago from linebacker position last year, about 70-something tackles, which he didn't have to make as many because the line play was a little bit better last year and the team was a little bit better. Also, C.J. Henderson up front, or actually in the defensive backfield. And another kid that they lost as a result of all this stuff that transferred out was also going to be a backup defensive back. So there may be a little bit of depth issues in the defensive backfield position, but I still think they're going to be okay if Mullen can put the kibosh on all this stuff now. At the quarterback position, Felipe Franks was 24 touchdowns, only 6 interceptions last year. Huge improvement. People don't look at that and really say a lot about it, but he was probably the most improved quarterback in college football last year over what he'd done the previous year. 24 TDs, 6 interceptions last year. The year before, which he spent most of that year as a starter too, under Jim McElwain, 9 touchdowns, 8 interceptions. So you can see the transition from the McElwain regime to the Mullen regime really did Felipe Franks a lot of good. He really blossomed last year. LaMichael Pirines, written in to be the starter at running back, 826 yards last year and 7 touchdowns. He got in a little off-the-field trouble, too, a couple weeks ago. So it was said that they were towing his mom's car, and he touched the tow truck driver. He touched him. Sounds like a lot to do about nothing to me. I'm sure he'll probably end up playing in this game, and nothing will be done with that. They have a trio of senior wide receivers down there. I like their depth at that position. I like the depth. That's probably the best overall position group on the team. They do have to rebuild their offensive line, but the offensive line coach they had down there has been with Dan Mullen since like 2001. So these guys, probably know how to build a pretty solid offensive line, probably know how to do it pretty quick. I wouldn't be too awful worried about that. What I expect to happen in this game, obviously you can tell by the way I'm talking. I expect Florida to win this game. Last year, they looked pretty decent the last few games of the season. They ended up on a 3-game winning streak. They beat up on Idaho, Florida State, and then they won the bowl game against Michigan. Michigan did have a couple players sitting out in that game, but still, they had like a 3-touchdown win over them, so that's nothing to laugh at. I expect Florida to win this game. The new coach, Hoopla, is only going to take Miami so far. And I think they're going to cover the 8.5-point spread right now. Though this is not my official prediction on this one. Our official predictions will come the week before the games. If things change between now and then, my prediction may change a little bit. But as of right now, I think Miami's going to cover this spread. I think they'll probably win this game by a couple of touchdowns. I think Miami will get better and improve throughout the year as these young quarterbacks start to find their way with the team. Their schedule is not that difficult. This is probably, in fact, their most difficult game of the season. And then it all kind of goes downhill from there. So, you're starting here and going down here. I think they'll be okay at the end of the season. I fully expect them to win more than 7 games. In fact, they could reach double digits and could end up playing Clemson in the ACC championship game. Of course, if they don't figure things out, it could go sideways for them, and, then who knows what all could happen. But as far as this one goes, I'm taking the Florida Gators in Orlando to win against the Miami Hurricanes and to cover the spread. Carolina Jackpot's going to get out of here. Like I said, remember Memorial Day, all the people who've lost their lives to sacrifice for this, our great country. I saw something today on YouTube that kind of bothered me a little bit. You got another college football YouTuber who I'm not going to name, just put up a post, kind of slamming, Donald Trump, slamming, the people who vote for Trump and support him and and this person's got a whole lot more subscribers than I do that reaches a lot more people. And, come on. You're on here to talk about college football. Now, me, I talk about college football and I do lottery tickets, and that's about it. Once in a while, I'll put up a YouTube video with a video of my dog, okay? But you'll never hear me talking about politics and getting on here and ranting and raving about that stuff and putting up this ridiculous stuff. Because you know why? Because this is not the platform for it. It's not the time or the place, especially on an American holiday. You need these people need, if you're not going to go out there, in my opinion, and run for office, and you don't want to change something, shut up. Shut up. Keep your opinion to yourself, because most of the time they're wrong, they're biased, and they're misinformed. And that's all I got to say about that. I'm going to get out of here. I appreciate you guys watching. Oh, one more thing before we go. I always got to talk about Tater Fan, right? I always got to talk about Tater Fan. I got a gem from Tater Fan this morning. Let's take a look. Now, this was a comment I got on a video I posted up about 4 days ago on the 2019 South Carolina season and my predictions for how things are going to go there. This is from Aaron Jansen. Aaron is apparently a Tater fan. Looks like he's perhaps a Tater golf fan, because there's the Tater Tiger swinging the golf club at what appears to be a chicken. Sure wins and sure losses. What is a loss? I'm not familiar with that term as a Clemson fan. Oh, so you jumped on the bandwagon, huh? Cool. I bet you this guy can't even tell you who Clemson's quarterback was before Tasha Boyd. I only have one thing to say about this post. I'll see y'all later. Peace, and I'm out. Go Cox. Go Coach Boom.